baby. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday.
Party boys are
It's
here.
Friday. And it's time for another edition of the Grossi Perna Show, otherwise known as
GPS. And you got to say S like
it's like a snake. It's like
yeah. We're snakes waiting in the
snake jazz, baby.
rough.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Ooh,
Tom Grossi,
snake jazz.
Brandon Perna, right there.
Bop, bop.
And
Oh, that's scat. Sorry.
boop boppity bop. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a show for you
Oh,
today.
we do.
Because it's Friday. So we do. I mean, we're contractually obligated. Who's contracting us? Nobody. But we are contractually obligated to.
Yeah. We made a promise to ourselves.
We did.
That's the most steel tight bond you can have is the promise you keep to yourself.
That's very inspirational on a Friday morning. And I was thinking of, we could get in a licensing deal. I feel like if you and I got a scam call too.
Likely?
You should pick that up.
Son of a bitch!
I'll talk to him. I'll have a full-blown conversation with them.
Who calls at 9 a.m.?
It's a monster. That's who's going to do it.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I will say, I think a licensing deal would be you and I getting in touch with like Garmin or Magellan and doing some GPS voices. Like maybe we'll get in touch with the people at Waze. And it's just you and I giving conflicting directions.
Yeah. Is TomTom still around?
Yo,
oh my God. TomTom GPS?
TomTom GPSs. Let's go.
Let's go. Tom, I just made you a millionaire, my
That's
friend.
It, baby. Let's get it.
I'm going to call my navigation friends after the show because I've got many. I'm going to navigate them to your bank account.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Yeah. So we did have an amazing Thursday night football game.
First half, meh, but second half.
Dude, that's where football's made, second half.
Oh, God. That's where dreams are made. We saw Geno Smith, a 99-yard touchdown scoring drive. Geno Smith. And you know what? I will admit something, and this is going to feel gross, and I don't like it. I hate the Seahawks. I hate them with a burning passion of 1,000 suns. I hate them. But there was a part of me for a few moments that I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind the Seahawks win this game just because of Geno Smith. Just because of Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, you love the backup story, the backup success story. And Geno, he's hung around, hasn't had an easy go of it in the NFL. Only quarterback I can remember who got punched in the face by one of his teammates, broke his jaw with the Jets. Everybody rooting for Geno at this point.
Sure.
Wilson gets hurt. There's a double punt in this game. We're going to go through all of that.
All the fingers, all the digits getting injured in this game.
And then I've got a couple questions to pose about this game, bigger football topics, and then some preview of the Sunday's games. I got some Bills players I want to shout out. Bills Chiefs, biggest game of the week, I think. Browns Chargers, the low-key, sneaky good game everyone should be paying attention to. And of course, Packers-Bengals, Broncos Steelers. So a lot to get through today. Last night, I was actually a little jealous of you, Tom.
Oh.
I was watching that football game.
Watching the game.
I finished dinner early, so I could really just sit back and watch it. And I'm like, dang, this is turning into a good game. The double punt happened, and I'm like, man, I wish I was live streaming this game right now because this is the kind of game you want to be talking about.
Dude.
It's a Thursday night game between, I'm rooting for the Rams.
Yeah.
But it's not like two teams I love. But it just turned into a fun game. And I'm like, this is why, I was so excited to do this show this morning. You're such a nerd for football. You are really a nerd for football to get this jazzed.
Well, I feel like that's one of those things because I've gotten this question a few times because you and I have been around the block for a while now. We've done this. We've done our respective shows for many moons. What year are you on? You have to be 8?
I think this is season 9.
8 or no? Okay. Oh, we almost had double.
No, 8. Wait.
Are we on season or years? Because there is a difference there.
Both. 2013 was the first full Broncos season I did, but I started the show in 2012. But this is season 9 of covering every Broncos game, and then also the last 4 years is NFL almost every day. So
yeah. So we've done. I mean, because I started in 2015, so we're in year 6. Like we've been around for a little bit. We have 15 years of football experience between us.
Makes us an expert.
And people ask, they're like, do you ever get tired of it, right? But sometimes, like, I'll be very honest. There's some times that it was like, this game sucks. Like, this is a drag. Like, I don't want to talk about this game. Like, get into this. But every now and then, and I feel like it's happened a lot this season because of the games. There's like that little intrinsic internal kind of like flutter. You're like, oh God, I love football. Like last night made me love football even more so. Like watching Geno Smith drive down for 99 yards and score a touchdown. I was like, you know what? Yeah. I'm all about it. I love
what I love about football is there's a double punt in this game. All right. So the Rams block a punt.
They did.
Seahawks kicker Michael Dickson, now a legend across America, across the globe.
And Aussie. There's so many Australians in my chat who were going nuts when that was happening. They're like, we got Aussie in the house. I was like, yes. Yeah, and it's like, there was a guy on his lunch break because it was like 11 o'clock here. And they were on their lunch break. They're like, oh yeah, I'm teaching, but I'm on my lunch break right now watching this game and watching the stream. And I was like,
that's amazing.
the Earth is a strange place.
He picks up the blocked punt, and then he blasts. He gets the second punt off, and he blasts it deep. I'm watching the replay right now on Good Morning Football.
68-yarder or something.
Yeah, but what was amazing about it is the announcers think that you can't do that. The booth official thinks that you can't do that. We're all prepared for the punt to come back. I think I was ready to tweet like, how could the NFL not want this play to happen?
Yeah.
And then the play stands because the NFL amended the rule saying you can do a double punt as long as he's not across the line of scrimmage. Question is, was he across? Here's how stupid I am, though. I put a video up about this last night.
You did.
I make like a whole thing about the line of scrimmage being the 20-yard line because that's what they said on the broadcast. I don't double check it. I was having some technical editing issues. Line of scrimmage was actually the 21. So I think he's pretty safe with this punt. I think the punt definitely stands. I think part of his body is behind the line. It's the same rule with the quarterback throwing. Like even if his sphincter hair is across the line of scrimmage, it's still okay behind it. So like we learned something. Like everybody thinks they sort of.
There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of confusion.
The officials didn't know. How often does that happen in sports where even the officials like, what the hell do we do here, guys?
Yeah, like it was Pereira, right, who was on talking to the commentators like while it was happening, and he's like, you can't like do that, and then like he was wrong too because he's like, no, you can't do that, and they're like, okay, it's all good, and I was like, what? I mean, listen, Dickson, and he like scooped it with one hand too. Like spinning the ball, and he's just like juking people. He's like, nah, I'm going to let this thing rocket out of here. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I think I want a Dickson jersey when he gets eventually brought to a better team. But yeah, I thoroughly appreciate it. I know about the double punt. I didn't know like if he was past the line of scrimmage. There was just a lot of chaos and confusion, and Rams fans were very unhappy. But football fans were like, that was really cool. It should just count.
Yeah, you should definitely like punters should be able to do double punts wherever they want on the field.
Yeah.
Like, I think what would be really ballsy, you go for it on fourth down, the punter runs, almost gets to the first down, and then punts it. I don't know why you do that, but I want to see it, Tom. I want to see it.
Listen, I just know Pat McAfee literally started a Twitter Spaces last night after that play just to go nuts over it. Because, Pat McAfee was a happy man last night.
Yeah, anything that happens with a kicker, Pat gets added about it. It's like, that was a cool kicking play. Better make sure Pat McAfee knows this happened.
I think, like, it's so funny, like, how collectively excited the football world got about a punt last night.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty awesome. Like, you try to explain that to someone who doesn't watch football, and they're like, no, but they kicked it twice. And they're like, all right. Wow. Like, cool.
It really is like one of the most boring plays in the game.
Yeah.
It's that and the kickoff. And the reason they're both boring is because they have made it really hard for returns to happen.
Correct.
Like anytime almost every time you see a good punt return happen, it gets called back for a hold or a block in the back.
Yep.
And they don't want kick returns happening. So there's like 95%.
They're almost always touchbaks. Yep.
So when you see some crazy shit, you're like, yes! Yes!
Special teams is a thing.
Yeah. It was awesome though.
It was great. By the way, you know what? We're gonna do this morning talk first. Talk loud. I'll be in the shower. I got
all
you.
All right. We're talking for you in the shower.
Baby, put your tiny hand in my. Sorry. Yeah, but another thing that happened last night, and speaking of reacting to things, because I had quite the reaction to this. Russell Wilson's finger was the claw from Liar Liar, and they kept showing it over and over again. And I remember because like he threw it, and I'm like, oh, he's holding his hand. He must have hurt his hand. And I'm like talking about it on the stream. And then they show it, and I'm like, oh, no. And they kept, and like people were like, what's going on? And then they saw it, and they were like, oh, God, no. People were knowing not to look at it because of my reaction to that. But that's the thing. If you avoided it the first time, they showed it about 18 more times.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Like, where does the NFL draw the line on gruesome injuries that they show? Because if that were his leg, out of respect to Russell, we're not going to show it.
Honestly, though, they showed Dak's leg a lot.
They did show Dak's.
They showed They showed it this year. Like when he came back, like the first game of the season, they showed that. They showed it on the Monday night game between the Eagles and Cowboys, and they're like, remember when this guy snapped his ankle? I was like,
yeah,
Jesus.
But they did not show the Giants' Nick Gates when he broke his leg this year. They did not show the replay of it. But the Russell Wilson thing, like, I think the NFL's like, oh, it's a finger. He'll eventually be okay. We can know that right away. So we're gonna maximize how many times we show this. But here's where it got weird, Tom.
Yeah.
The NFL post-game show. They have Matthew Stafford on with the crew, with Colleen Wolfe and the crew. Yep. And they show Matthew Stafford the replay of Russell Wilson breaking his finger live in the post-game. Like, they're just having Stafford react to watching Russell Wilson's finger get hurt. So they showed like the play where he hits his hand on Donald and Stafford's like, like he kind of makes one of those. And then they show his finger and he's like, oh,
like, why are you showing this to me?
Like,
it's like one of your friends coming up and they're like, you want to see this cool video of a guy jumping off his roof and breaking his leg? Like, that's what they did last time. Stafford's like, no, I don't want to see this at all, actually.
Yeah, but what it made me think, a show we got to trademark, Tom, is NFL players react to other NFL players' horrific injuries.
I just want one of them to be like, why? You said this was a charity show?
Yeah.
We did not say that.
Hey, Matthew Stafford, you did really good, but you want to see Russell Wilson break his fucking finger in half?
Yeah, dude. It was wild. Yeah, I don't, because like, listen, as we all know, including you, Brandon Perna, like when you have those kinds of injuries, like they draw in the clicks because we have like that morbid curiosity of like, let's see it, right? It happens on the basketball court and you're just like, that guy's ankle snapped. Let me just watch that again in slow motion. Like they have in USC when people are getting knocked out or breaking limbs and stuff like that. They show it over and over again. But like, yeah, to show Matthew Stafford that and then to show it a total of like 18 times last night, I was like, maybe a little overkill. Maybe just a bit.
And then here, because like this morning, all you hear is Russell Wilson's never missed a game. That is in jeopardy now. That is in jeopardy now. Now his finger looked bad, and it's his middle finger, which really, really key to throwing a good football. But during the broadcast, and this happens a lot when a guy gets injured, and I think it's announcers trying to hype him up a little bit. But like Troy Aikman's like, yeah, Russell Wilson comes out of the game with that finger. He is one of the toughest players in the league, though. This guy is one of the toughest players in the league. My question is, one, how do we actually determine who the toughest NFL player is? Because two, I think they're all pretty dang tough. Like all of these guys play through injuries all the time. You don't know about them, especially like offensive linemen. Like their leg doesn't work.
They got broken thumbs. Yeah, 100%.
They're like, why is this Pro Football Focus rating down 5 points? Oh, his pelvis was broken.
Well, I'm like on us. Look at how much we talked about Baker Mayfield and how bad he was.
Oh
right?
yeah,
But Baker Mayfield tore his whole arm off, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I was still playing football." That's fun. The fact that I sprained ankles before, they hurt. And they take weeks to get better. Carson Wentz sprained both of them and was playing football the following Sunday. And I'm like, yeah, that's the difference between a pro athlete and Tom Grossi right there.
Yeah. It's just I appreciate them saying that, but I think it does a disservice to all of the other guys that are just as tough as Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Jared Goff won a playoff game last year with a broken thumb.
With 4 fingers, yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive. And nobody cares anymore. Jared Goff sucks. That's the narrative now, right? It's totally unfair to him. But they do it all the time. I remember when the Broncos had their Super Bowl 2015 run and win, Evan Mathis was a key offensive lineman they signed late. And he played almost the whole season with just a horrible hamstring injury. They're every time he would take his pants off in the locker room, his whole leg was just purple. And the dude never complained about it. Fans didn't even know how hurt he was. But that stuff happens all the time. So yes, it's a finger injury, which I think is more serious for a QB because they got to throw it.
I'll still be playing. Don't worry. I hear that. Well, you look at a guy like Brett Favre, right? Brett Favre, who has all those consecutive games, Eli Manning too, until the Giants benched him. These guys play with injuries and they got the crap kicked out of them. So
yeah. And it's Favre's, he was masking with, you learned copious amounts of painkillers after.
Accurate.
It's a double bad thing. He's building an addiction so he can play through all these injuries, and that's going to affect him later in life. It's we forget how much I think players give up.
They literally give up their future to have a great present. Don't get me wrong, but this got into a totally different conversation. But a ton, I want to say the vast majority was 70% or something like that of NFL players are broke by the time they're at a certain age. Because it's starting to change now a little bit, but there's more programs that are available. But yeah, it's
Mr. Diggs. That's good sports, buddy.
Where are you watching this? He's watching on mine. Okay,
yeah. See the big logo in the corner of the screen here?
You don't even need to do that. There's a link in the description too.
Oh yeah, link in the description. But Mr. Diggs, Buffalo Bills are my second team. I appreciate you asking. I am going to hype up your Bills at the end of this episode, so stick around, buddy. Oh yeah. Nobody loves the Bills more than me, not even real Bills fans.
And there you go. Now, I do want to say, couple players to note from last night before we get off this game. Matt Gay had himself a rough night. 2 kicks out of bounds, missed the extra point.
Yeah.
My buddy had a rough night, rough night. And then they were going at the very end, when they kicked that field goal to ice the game. There was a part of me that was oh crap, if he misses this or it gets blocked, they're in trouble, because it was no gimme. It was a long field goal, and on top of that, having a rough night, I was like,
Yeah, there's one more thing I want to talk about is the analytics crowd. But Matt Gay, just off the top of my head here, he did have a rough night, and I think we need to give Matt Gay some credit, because if you have the last name Gay as a man growing up, that's rough. That's rough at school. Yeah. And then to choose to be a kicker on top of that, the most unfairly scrutinized position in sports.
Oh yeah.
I would say that guy has a thick skin. I bet that guy lets criticism bounce off of him very easily.
My man has a force field around him.
Yeah, that's a double whammy of
just there's nothing that you can say to hurt me. You can't hurt me. I'm literally impenetrable. You can't.
He's I'll kick 3 kicks out of bounds. What are you going to do about it? I grew up with the last name Gay. Nothing's going to faze me in the NFL.
I went to middle school, folks. Do you know how terrible they are? And they are.
Yeah,
they are
terrible. My God. But middle school kids, I am scared of them as an adult man.
Oh yeah. They're vicious.
Stop hurting my feelings.
They're rough. They're mean people. You want to talk about analytics though?
Yeah. So, okay. Because you mentioned the first part of this game, a little bit boring, right? Like everybody's like, oh, when's the game going to start? You can take Matt Stafford out of Detroit, but you can't take Detroit out of Stafford because he
I got those.
One bad pick. All right, so the Rams, they're in the red zone. Okay.
Oh.
Second quarter, it's a fourth down.
Yep.
They choose to kick a field goal.
Yep.
Which I am fine with. In a game they're down by 1 touchdown.
Yep.
But the analytics crowd on Twitter just eviscerated them. You cowards! You cowards!
Well,
and I know there's situations where you use the analytics in football as a probability, right? Like,
sure.
If we take the risk here, the chances of it backfiring are limited or whatever. But I have seen a lot of teams this season decide to not take points when those points later in the game would be beneficial. And so when the Rams took the lead later because they did kick a field goal and then they missed the extra point, having that field goal was actually the right move. Analytics, when you think about them, you got to think about the whole game. And I think that's what people lose sight of.
100%. And they get so invested in the micro, they don't see the macro. Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. I don't disagree with that one at all. Where I disagreed with and what I actually didn't like, it was from both teams. There was one play where it was 3rd and 10, and the Rams just gave up and ran it. Like, that one was a weird one. Then there was one, I think they were on like the 50 or something like that, and I think the play call wasn't good. But the Seahawks, I think it was 4th and 2, and like they ran it right into Aaron Donald. Like that.
Yeah,
like, that
they
was
ran
the play
it 4
call.
straight times.
Yeah, like that one. Like, criticize that more than like getting actual points in a close game. Like that makes sense. But
yeah, so this is a great segue because they ran it 4 straight times, right? Oh, ooh, Shank.
Oh,
Kicker
that's
named
rough.
Shank. Are you kidding me?
That's rough.
That can't be real.
It's like having Doink.
Shank, Doink, and Blew It all playing kicker together. So I tried to tweet out that Pete Carroll is just Pat Shurmur, the Broncos offensive coordinator, with an elite QB. I accidentally typed Oat Shurmur. Yeah. Said Pete Carroll is just Oat Shurmur with an elite QB.
Accurate.
I deleted it fairly quickly because it was brought to my attention immediately.
Don't you hate that too?
Dude, I love being on Twitter during football games. Yeah, because we've got people popping out Oat Shurmur, Pat Shurmur, bland AF since 2020. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you. This is why I am on social media during football. Yeah, I love making a mistake and then people roasting me for it and then turning it into something like I might be calling Pat Shurmur Oat Shurmur for the rest of my life.
Honestly, that's a shirt. Like that's a shirt. You get a Colonial Man with Pat
Shurmur's sponsor, Tom and Quaker Oats coming next.
Quaker Oats. They're like, listen, have some oatmeal while you're driving in the middle of nowhere because you're going to get lost for a long, long time. Yeah. There's a guy, speaking of GPS voices, there is every now and then, like you get a little like notification on your phone from YouTube of like a random commenter. Like it seems like it's random.
Oh yeah. It's like YouTube pops it up, right?
Yeah. Like and it's like completely random. It's not anyone you like follow. It's just random. And the other day, I think it was on my predictions video. And this guy goes, you talk through your nasal cavity. Your voice is infuriating and is horrible to listen to. And I was like, that's valid. But I went and I clicked on it. And my man has been watching every single week and leaving comments that have to do with the actual predictions. I'm like, wait a minute. So you made through like 5 weeks of this and we're like, all right, now I'm done.
Now the voice is bad.
Now
fair enough. That's like, I feel like that's a marriage. You know what I mean? Like he's committing to you. He loves you at first. He's forgiving all your flaws. And then after a while, you're like, you know what? I don't like the way they choose their food at the dinner table.
I want to suffocate him in his sleep.
Yeah. The way they leave their stuff out everywhere. I forgave that at first. Now it's a problem.
That's it. Speaking of things that were a problem, Robert Woods, crushed it last night. Didn't crush it. Cooper freaking Kupp missed a touchdown by this much. I have him in 2 fantasy leagues. I also have Russell Wilson. That's a big problem. But freaking Cooper Kupp, quieter night than he's been having.
the Rams, they missed some opportunities. And I think like Stafford was getting criticized because he threw that bad pick early in the game. And he also missed an open throw. Might have been to Cup. It might have been to Woods. I don't forget who it was, but it's a throw he normally makes. It was a deep pass. It might have been a touchdown, but like I think a lot of people were jumping on the opportunity to criticize Stafford.
Oh,
and I was
Stafford
about to
hate is
tweet
real.
like Stafford looks a little off. And as soon as I was almost going to hit tweet, he connects that deep ball to Deshaun Jackson.
Yep.
Not even a great throw, but Deshaun comes back, gets it, and then takes off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, you forget like good quarterbacks, they also miss throws sometimes. They also don't play perfect, especially beginning games before they get warmed up. And then he finishes with, like close to 350 passing yards, the touchdown. They handled the game.
Dude, that play, and you retweeted that too about Deshaun Jackson. That one play with Deshaun Jackson that he looked old and young at the same time.
Yeah, that was Scott Hansen.
He's like, oh, and like you see, he's like, oh my god, he's gonna score a touchdown, and he literally just like, nah, and he's just
tired,
out of bounds.
He's like, I'm not gonna get hit because I can't outrun this guy because I'm tired. And then they cut to him on the sideline, like,
I love it.
I
love it so much.
Just don't criticize my Matthew Stafford. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, I love Matthew Stafford, but it does seem like, and it was said last night too, because there's a lot of people in the chat that were like, Matthew Stafford's washed, he's overrated, he sucks. I'm like, dude, is it because he's gone to LA and like just no one talked about him when he was on Detroit and now he's in some kind of spotlight and he was hyped up this offseason and everyone's like, let's tear him down. But
dude, Russell Wilson missed a throw like, I don't know, shortly after him, a deep throw. Like not quarterbacks aren't going to hit all of those easy deep throws.
Yeah.
Got to warm them up before you start driving.
TBK knows. He knows.
Yeah, the difference is like good quarterbacks, they eventually make up for their bad plays.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching a lot of bad QB play for the last few years, so I feel like I'm an expert here.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
What happens with bad quarterbacks is later in the game when they have that opportunity again, they screw it up as well. So like, and I saw that last week where there's a missed opportunity, but then Teddy Bridgewater got hurt, and we had Drew Lock come in, and he was not gonna make up for it. And then he actually did, but it got called back because of a flag. But like, the guys like Stafford, Wilson, Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes, Josh Allen, they might be off early. They might miss some throws, but when it counts, they're probably going to hit. They're probably going to hit on the important throws when the game matters. After the game too, I think it was Steve Smith was criticizing the Seahawks, and he was criticizing Geno Smith, and he was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to play 4 quarters of football. I was like, but Geno Smith came in the second half.
Yeah,
I think he meant the Seahawks, but it sounded so much like Geno Smith.
Which, by the way, that last interception was not on him at all. Like, that was not his fault. And
the receiver fell down.
Tyler Lockett then, by the way, Tyler Lockett must have been watching some soccer before this, because like he gets tapped and he's just like, oh no, and he like falls, and I'm just like, and he just sits there, and the refs are like, nah, like we're not even gonna touch that one because like
wants the flag.
There's nothing there. There is absolutely nothing there. But I will say that the officiating last night, there was moments where it wasn't good again. And I feel like now, like, there's such a microscope, because I got questions about this. People are spending money to be like, hey, can we talk about this? Like, how bad? They're like, is the officiating, like, what's going on? Like, because it is bad this year. Like, we've talked about it, I think, every single week at this point, that it just, they look worse than usual, which is hard to do. But they're interfering with games.
Will and I had Dave Damashek on the podcast this week, and like he's been covering the NFL for so long, and he's like such a knowledgeable football guy. We kind of asked him, do we just forget every year how bad officiating is for the first half of the season? And he was like, yeah, we do. It's always bad. And the other issue that we got into discussing, and I think it's like important, is like in the 90s, a bad play would happen, but you forget about it because the only time you're re-seeing that play is like if it makes it into Sports Center.
That's
now
true.
A bad play is posted on Twitter
over
instantly.
and over again.
And like fans who don't even follow those teams, but are maybe like general NFL fans,
Yeah.
they'll see that pop up in their feed. So it's like, I think it's amplified. And the point Dave brought up that's infuriating is we can fix that. There is a way to fix that, but the NFL just chooses not to do it.
Spend the money. Yeah.
Us viewers at home can see the problem instantly. So why can't the NFL have a direct line of communication to the head official on the field and just get like a confirmation of, yes, call that pass interference. No, that wasn't pass interference, because they can't see what we're seeing. Like they can only see the game from the ground level, and that's harder to do. So yeah, I think it is bad. I think it's magnified, and I think officials make more mistakes earlier in the season.
Oh, sure.
And
because they got to settle into, they got to warm up as well.
But they're seeing a different version of the game than we are, to be fair to them.
Correct.
And I don't ever want to be, because
I think that's what makes it infuriating. And like, this is the thing I have like with baseball too, because you utilize so much, and they do so much technology. You spend so much money on like the best of the best cameras. You have all these different angles, et cetera, et cetera. And you're willing to spend all of this money to try and better the product. But like, you stop short of like identifying a significant like deficit with the game. Yeah. Like, no, we're not going to spend the extra money. Like baseball is like, well, it's that human element, right? Like we'll never get like, if it's a ball or a strike, excuse me, because they have like the strike box right there, like on your TV. And they're like, oh yeah, that was outside. That was inside. Like that was, whatever. And there's like, no, like we could get rid of that completely. And I understand having like a human element in it. The problem is, and especially in the NFL, like the human element for the officiate, there's already so much human element that in the game that when the ref is like, it's a blatant call and it completely changes the game. Yeah. Like that's not good for anybody. It's not good for the team that wins. It's not good for the team that loses. It's not good for like the viewer. And I think it gets very infuriating. And honestly, like if you want to look at it because like the biggest, you want to try to attract those casual viewers. You're a casual viewer who turns it on and sees like a blatant terrible call. You're like, I don't know, I don't want to watch this. So like, it's I don't know. It's just it's a weird mentality for the NFL to have. Like, we'll spend all this money, but
they're like, we could fix officiating by implementing technology, but that seems like a lot of work. So let's just emphasize taunting this year. Let's just get people upset about that, and then we'll pull it back, and they'll be happy that we're not calling it anymore, and we'll move on to next season where we do the exact same thing.
I love that. We create our own controversy, then we take it back, and then the people love us again.
Yeah. Dude, when I think it's the NFL's cheap, too. When I went with Adam down to the middle of nowhere to look at the field that he helped get built here in Colorado, we were talking to the guy who built the field, and he was telling us, like, this is the best turf you can have, like in terms of safety, in terms of like the way they've designed it. And he's like, there are NFL stadiums that have worse turf than this in there.
Yes.
And it's because the owners refuse to pay for the best possible turf for the players to play on. And that's like an insane thing to think about. Like, why would you not spend the money there? Yeah. But
billions. Well, listen, I just want to say the Green Bay Packers use a blend of Kentucky bluegrass and also turf, and they put it together and it grows like a seed. And we got some damn good turf. That's all I'm gonna say. Soldier Field, garbage.
MetLife Stadium, garbage.
Washington football team, garbage.
Their whole stadium's bad.
Their whole stadium, they're literally leaking poop.
Yeah, and they're under investigation by the DEA right now.
Yeah, so
cool. Washington.
Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad is breaking down their door.
Yeah,
that's it. All right, so that's a Thursday night. You got anything more about Thursday night game?
No, we need to talk about some games coming up.
But I will say, this is the last point. I love calling Rams games because I can use so many props and call them so many nicknames. Like Aaron McDonald's, like that's easy. That's an easy one. I don't say that one, but every single time Cooper Kupp caught a ball, which wasn't a lot of times, I say Cooper, and then I'd hold up a cup. It was great. It was wonderful. We got that physicality. And my favorite is that pass was caught not by a car, but Van Jefferson, which then we started quoting Chris Farley in the chat. So like, I do enjoy calling Rams games.
Live in a Van Jefferson airplane down by the river. Wow.
Down by the river.
Van Jefferson airplane.
That's it. Sorry. That's all I wanted to say. It added nothing to the show.
No, I do that all the time.
All right, let's talk about some week 5 previews, Brandon Perna.
Oh, yeah. Where do you want to start?
Oh, baby. You know, we'll leave our teams for last. Okay. You talk about this sneaky good game, and I completely agree. The Browns-Chargers, dude, that's going to be a fun game.
I think that's a playoff preview.
I agree. I completely agree with that. But you have the Browns coming in. Baker obviously got his torn labrum.
Yeah. It's in his non-throwing shoulder, though, so let's not... It hurts probably every time he moves, but it's not that bad. I wanted to talk about that on Clickbait yesterday. I forgot to bring that in.
Yeah. Ray's trying to get you a monkey tail beard.
What is a monkey tail beard? That's the real question. And I ain't doing it. I might consider a mullet for a punishment, but I'm not touching this beard.
All right, I got you, buddy. This is what dreams are made of, and by dreams I mean nightmares. This is what dreams are made of.
Maybe I'll do it. I need to see it first.
I got you. It's uploading right now. Enhance.
Oh my god. Oh, I think I could do that actually.
You actually could pull that off.
My wife might hate me for a while, but
you just have to shave this.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I think you can pull it off.
Okay, interesting.
I think you can. Anyway, Browns-Chargers.
Browns-Chargers. Okay, so we talk about a lot of games, a lot of previews. I wanted to mention some of the underrated players. I got more for the Bills, but right now, I don't think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
JOK.
Yeah, people say JOK because his name's kind of complicated, but it's one of the few names I can actually say correctly, oddly enough. Right now, second highest grade in Pro Football Focus for linebackers. Smart draft pick by the Browns. Their defense is playing well.
Also the second.
Their secondary's been good. Grant Delpit's been good. Greedy Williams looking nice. But this guy, when you've got Myles Garrett wreaking havoc up front and you hit on your draft pick, I think the Browns defense is going to continue to get better. It's going to provide Baker the opportunity to play through that injury. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Mr. Taki, that duo of linebacking names alone should get you excited.
Dude,
Chargers are good too.
And then there's the Charger. Dude, JOK, like there was a play he made. I think it was Cook who was running that he was like 8 yards. Like JOK was like 8 yards deep and he ran still and like made that play like to stop him. And like, yeah, JOK, like when I remember draft night because I wanted the Packers to draft him and he fell to the second round. I'm like, how did Newsome and JOK fall to like the Browns? The Browns didn't have to do anything. They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take these really good players and have them like add them to our defense because their defense, like they have added to that defense over the years and like it's finally starting to like bloom and they're looking good and they're staying mostly non-injured. And Myles Garrett is literally a walking highlight reel.
That was the issue for him last year. They're like all of their secondary was hurt, so it was a liability. Oh,
but they're gonna be good. And then the Chargers, their defense looked pretty good last week. Justin Herbert having a good one. I saw your little passive aggressive tweet that Justin Herbert had a bad throw, and you're like, probably no one's gonna talk about it though.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's like a few layers deep sort of tweet for Broncos QBs, and every bad pass gets pointed out.
Sure,
and that's another example. Herbert missed an easy open pass early. But what does he do? He makes up for it later.
What good quarterbacks do.
But I did have to take a jab at him because he looks really, really good and he's getting better. And Joey Bosa is like a Charger I hate. Like I've always hated Joey Bosa. His personality rubs me the wrong way, and then he's really good on the field. But then
the refs
He rips the refs, and then he just takes some cheap shots at Derek Carr. I'm like, oh God, I'm starting to like Joey.
Oh no, what's
now.
happening inside me?
Yeah. He's just like Derek Carr. He sucks. Like he's scared of getting hit, and you could see him crumble in that game. I'm like, dang, dude.
He went after his family. Did Joey Bosa get fined yet for saying the refs are blind?
Oh, he's going to.
Dude, he's gonna be like, okay. Like, I just like I imagine all of the NFLPA is just like, what? They can't find all of us.
Like, yeah, no, exactly.
They can.
I don't think they've given him a fine yet, but
can you imagine they don't? And then it's just gonna unleash, just like, oh, we're allowed to talk about the rest now.
Okay.
But yeah, this game, you have a really good offense. Eckler getting it going last week, looking real good. Finally getting that run.
He's a guy I root for. Eckler, short dude. Already on my list. Went to Western State here in Colorado. Gunnison, Colorado, a town I spend time in almost every summer. Root for that guy.
So you're a full-blown Chargers fan now.
No. I mean, if I got to root for a team in the AFC West that's not the Broncos, it would be the Chargers.
Yeah, who else are you going to root for? That's gross.
Dude, I've gone through phases where I just hate every AFC West team with a passion. When I lived in Kansas, I hated the Chiefs more than anything. Then I moved to San Diego and the Chargers were good, and I hated the Chargers because I was around their fans in bars every week, and there's a bunch of bros, a bunch of bro Chargers fans by the beach. Did not like them. And then the Raiders, they were the team I hated the most before I lived in those other cities.
You came out the womb and you're just like, nah,
yeah,
that ain't it.
But
that ain't it.
It's
fair enough. But who'd you pick for this? I picked the Chargers, but the reason I gave was because I don't know if Browns fans are going to travel as well as the Raiders fans did this week. So it might be a 50-50 split instead of 75-25.
Yeah, I think I picked the Browns. It's hard to say. I can't remember.
It was so long ago.
It was yesterday. I can't remember.
And I think because Baker's hurt, I'm going to give the slight edge to the Chargers. But I mean,
I think the Browns defense is the difference.
Yeah.
The Chargers were able to run against the Raiders. I don't think they're going to be able to run against the Browns. And I think the Browns are able to defend the pass better as well. So I'm going to go with the Browns winning that game. Then we got another AFC West matchup for me. Well, it's not. It's an AFC West team, the Chiefs, and they're playing the Bills.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, what's going on? Okay, got it.
It's an AFC West team I need to lose. The Chiefs, Buffalo Bills.
I'm excited for this game.
All right. This offseason, we all thought they were going to lose their linebacker, Matt Milano. They're like, Bills fans were like, we think he's gone. They don't have the cap space. The Bills make that signing work. They bring Matt Milano back. Matt Milano right now, PFF's highest graded linebacker in the NFL. He does everything. Specifically, very good in coverage. You need your linebacker to be able to do that. Although, dealing with the hamstring injury right now, not sure his playing status yet. AJ Epinesa, bringing some QB pressures on that defensive line that the Bills were lacking last year. And opposite, Tre'Davious White, cornerback, Taron Johnson.
Trey White.
Coming. A real compliment, playing better than Trey White right now, allowing a passer rating of 57.9, ninth best in the league. So the Bills defense, I wanted to give some love to. We've been generalizing it, but I wanted to talk about some specific players. And this defense is going to get their first real test against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I don't expect them to be perfect. The Chiefs are getting Frank Clark back. So although he doesn't play until the postseason, regardless, he just pleaded guilty to his Uzi and his Lambo charges. I mean, not guilty. He pleaded not guilty, although we all know he is definitely guilty. But Chris Jones not practicing right now, missed 2 days. So if the Chiefs get Frank Clark back, but don't have Chris Jones, that's not even a wash. They're worse off without Chris Jones. Like they need Chris Jones on that defensive line. Otherwise, I think the Bills can run it. I think they can throw it, and I think they can score as many points as the Chiefs. And don't forget Josh Gordon playing this weekend as well.
They got the number 2 offense, baby. Bill's got that number 2 offense right behind the Arizona Cardinals and the number 1 defense. Yeah, the name that you didn't mention,
sure,
Ed Oliver, who top 10 pick. Packers fans were absolutely furious when they actually tried and won an overtime game against the Jets, which put them out of reach where they could have gotten Ed Oliver. And Ed Oliver, who, thank you for the blessings. Ed Oliver, is he dealing with it? I don't think he played in game 2, but like my man has not stepped it up. I thought you were going to see a lot more of Ed Oliver, considering like that's a premium draft pick.
Dude, he's underperformed since being drafted by the Bills.
Correct.
And it's not like it's a bad draft pick. He was the best player available. You take him. He just hasn't lived up to that draft spot. Same way like Bradley Chubb hasn't lived up to his draft position for the Broncos. And Chubb, the issue's been injuries.
Yeah.
Like stuff that's out of his control. You don't want to call the guy a bust, but at that position, you need those guys to be like top 10 at their position in the league every week. But Ed Oliver playing a little bit better, I think, this season. I don't expect him to have a great game against Mahomes and the Chiefs offense.
Ben, by the way, I picked the Bills to win this game. I think it's going to be a really difficult game, I think the Bills are just a more balanced team because like even if Mahomes is able to like put up points and stuff, I think the Bills defense will do just enough. And we know, just like every other offense in the NFL, the Bills especially, they can score on that Chiefs defense, like at will. So the Chiefs defense is going to have to pull something out that, and look amazing because they did not look good against the Eagles. Talking about their defense, their offense was incredible. Like they put up a good agility. They were just like, we're just going to outscore you. And I mentioned the 2011 Packers. Like we're just going to score more points than you. And that's it, which is how you win football games. But it's a matter
of the trend in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it is.
If you look at all the best teams, it's the ones with great offenses right now.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see, especially as it gets later in the season, because like, again, it's a late season this year. They got an extra week. A lot of players are going to be playing in extra games, not in just the extra game at the end of the season, but because of the playoff change that was implemented last year, only one team in each conference is going to be resting. So wait till those defenses start showing up and see if they want to get popped. Because you retweeted this. The Chargers head coach was talking about the run game, and I
another guy I like. Damn it!
Oh God, Perna, that's what 3? That's 3 now.
It's hard. There's a lot of players on the Raiders I like too, like little Hunter Renfrow. God, I root for that guy. Darren Waller, I love his story. I love what he's overcome.
Henry Ruggs,
like Max Crosby in there. Like, why do I like all these stupid ass Raiders? Josh Jacobs, another great story. Even John Gruden, you like? He's just insane.
He's just a crazy person.
He's just a crazy man.
Yeah,
but I still hate him. Dumb clothes. Yeah.
So, but like, if in case you didn't see it, go check out Perna's tweet from like last week or something like that, or it was I think it was earlier this week. But basically, you had the head coach of the Chargers saying the reason you run the ball is because statistically, it doesn't open up play action. Like that's an old adage that's just been repeated over and over and over again. He said instead what it is the physicality, because you're throwing the ball, guys don't necessarily have to tackle, right? It could be an incomplete or like what have you. But if you run, you're gonna get hit. Like, and I remember like back in the day when Tom Grossi played the football, like run plays, like you are gonna get popped. Like even if you were a wide receiver, because you had to like set a block, you are going to get popped. And like, that's where that physical element comes into it, and you look at like those teams that may be a little bit softer when it comes to physicality, because, football players, they don't like to say this a lot, but it hurts getting hit. And especially, I remember talking to Ryan Grant, and he was talking to me like in Lambeau in the dead of winter, like there was just like a normal tackle. And I think it was Strahan who tackled him. And like, he's just lying on the ground next to Grant. And he's just like, that effing hurt, man. Like he's like just there like, yeah, that didn't feel good. And like, there's some guys who can take that better. And there's some guys who are incredibly aggressive and have that mentality of like, listen, I'm just going to hit you harder and you're not going to want this. Like, can you imagine being an offensive lineman, Perna, and like, you're just going to get popped every single play.
Dude, Nate Jackson has a great book about the NFL. It's about a lot of things. And he was like a practice squad guy that makes the roster, but he's just talking about like the violent amount of force that your face and head absorb on almost. He's like, your face masks are hitting each other every time you're blocking. And like he was a tight end, or he was a receiver that they made put on weight to play tight end. So I think like it was sort of a shock for him on like how violent that position is when you're blocking every play. And you like the cold when come December, it hurts more when you get hit in the freezing cold. So yeah, a lot of places like Lambeau, you get those games where you can control it physically, you know, more so than earlier in the season when your bodies are feeling a little bit better, when maybe the weather's a little more conducive to
or
keep
you're playing in the dome. Yeah.
Like I watched this clip of the Bengals last night, and it was like Joe Burrow mic'd up, and he was on the sideline riding a bike to stay warm. I'm like, how bad does that suck?
Yeah.
Like you're playing an entire NFL game, and then you got to do exercise on the sideline to keep your body right. Like, in cold games, there's like you're by the heaters, you're doing all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Hurts. But you're right. So it's like Staley's saying, run the ball because the physical toll it takes on the defense is going to pay dividends later. And that clip to me resonated this week because we watched Mr. Oat fucking Meal himself completely abandon the running game when they throw in the backup quarterback in the second half. They don't give him any support, and the Broncos were running the ball effectively. 6.2, 6.9 yards per carry for Gordon and Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams just won the Angry Runs Award on Good Morning Football, and you don't have the smarts to do that? Like, that's why I hate him. Not as a coach, as a human.
As a human,
he doesn't have a feel for the game, and you see a guy like Staley, like he gets it. He gets it.
Yeah.
Like I love coaches that give you smart answers like that, because he could have just said like any sort of canned thing, but when they do that, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this guy. I like this
and that's
guy
another one. And that's another one. All right, I'll talk about my Green Bay Packers
trap game.
Kitty goes meow. The Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, I don't think this game's going to be a walk in the park at all for the Green Bay Packers. Jair Alexander most likely going to be out.
He's out. I'll confirm it.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that. But there's
hold on. Let me text Adam Schefter. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, okay. Who I love Adam Schefter's response, by the way. Did you see that on McAfee's show when they asked him? He's like, "What about Jair?" And he goes, "It's not good." And people were like freaking out. And he was like, "Yeah, could be a couple weeks, could be the end of the season." I was like, "You said nothing, so you know nothing," because those are very different pieces of information. Yeah,
it could literally be out one game or all of them,
or all of the games. So regardless, but. The Packers going into Cincinnati, obviously hurting a little bit. Elton Jenkins he was practicing again, so that's a big positive. Might have our second left tackle.
You mean Elgin?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Elton John. Josh Myers, our center, has a finger injury, probably not as bad as Russell Wilson, but I think that he is still going to play, hopefully.
Kind of important for a center.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, actually, if Myers can't go, Elton Jenkins can play center because that man can play every single position. He's going to get paid all the money when we have to re-sign him. But so that's a positive. I'm not very worried about the offensive line. On the offense, though, I'm not concerned. The defense, I'm a little concerned because you have Eric Stokes, who's going to be going up against Jamar Chase. That's going to be interesting.
Rookie on rookie.
There. They played against each other before, too. So, but thankfully, Eric Stokes, go fast. I mean, that is a good thing.
He's been good.
He's been very good.
Been a great draft pick for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Big Ben was targeting him a lot last week. And
he made Big Ben pay.
Oh, yes, he did. He paid a toll. Now, I think this might be a little bit of a high-scoring game.
It could be.
The Cincinnati Bengals defense, struggle a little bit with the Jaguars. But I think the Packers should do just enough to win. But this could definitely be a trap game. And this could definitely wind up I don't even know if you could constitute it as a trap game because technically they're 3-1. But yeah. I do have the Packers winning, but this could be a really actually fun game. Oh, and I forgot to check, Perna. Hold on. This is really important. NFL TV map. There was a rumor that I actually might be able to see this game. There was a rumor. And if I could actually see this game and not have to... Oh my God, it's going to be on my television screen. Happy days! Because the Jets are playing in the morning and the Giants are playing in the evening. Thank God. Okay, we're good.
You're getting the Packers game?
I actually get the Packers game. I have to watch it off the crappy NFL Sunday ticket, which is garbage because it delays everything. You don't nod your head, Perna. You're in Colorado. You're in the promised land. You get to watch your Denver Broncos every single week on the television screen.
I do.
You just got to pay for basic cable.
I don't think they've ever had blackout game.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL got rid of that anyway, but is it your game the afternoon? Is it an afternoon game?
1 o'clock. We have 3 1 o'clock games in a row. That's why Matt LaFleur said you got to wake up with your piss hot.
Okay,
This is going to be hot in the morning.
Our teams are playing at the same time then, because I'll be co-streaming with Tree since the Broncos play the Steelers.
Oh.
And then, so we all get to watch our games, which is nice.
That is nice.
And then enjoy afternoon football.
Afternoon football, I'm going to enjoy it. And then I'm actually going to have a break after the game. And I'm actually going to be able to do the post game right after. And then Sunday Night Football, I'll be in bed by midnight. And it won't be 3 o'clock in the morning like it has been every single Sunday since this has started. But yeah, I'm all about it. But yeah, how do you feel about this Bengals-Packers game?
I agree. I think it's going to be close. I think there's a chance for it to be a little bit high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals, I don't trust their defense yet. Where's Jesse Bates? Is he playing? The Bates Hotel.
I might have to put a blindfold over KGM here though, because there's gonna be a lot of Kitty Goes Meow fans.
You gotta.
It's gonna be rough.
Packers. Let me look at this injury report here. Oh yeah, because the Bengals are a little banged up. Joe Mixon got that sprained ankle. He may play, but he's gonna be slowed down just a little bit. You guys are gonna have the Pirine. What's Pirine's first name? Samaji? That can't be right. Am I saying that?
Who?
Samaji Pirine, the Bengals backup running back behind Joe.
Oh, you're asking me about the Bengals backup running back. I thought you were talking about the Packers. I'm like, no, that's not right.
No. Jesse Bates practicing. Okay, so that's a big get. You got Larry Ogunjobi, limited participation. T. Higgins still a little banged up. Maybe he plays.
If T. Higgins plays, that's a big one.
Packers are gonna win. I guarantee it.
Oh, that terrifies me that you just said that.
They're gonna win. It'll be close. Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow, but not as much as I love my future quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
How much are the Cardinals gonna lose by because of you?
We'll see. The
Sixels. Never forget the Sixers.
The Cardinals, I hope I don't curse them. But we'll keep an eye on that.
Buddy, you better hope not, because if the Bills beat the Chiefs and the Cardinals lose, guess who's going to have to be number 1 in your power rankings? You're going to curse the freaking Sixels next week.
I'd never do that.
You're just going to you'll put the Raiders up there again.
I'll keep the Bills at number 2 for eternity.
You put the Chargers up there. It's fine.
And so the Broncos-Steelers game, this is interesting. I'll have a full preview of that tomorrow morning, as I do every Saturday on the That's Good Broncos channel, my second YouTube channel. When are you going to get a second channel, Tom?
I'm not. I'm just going to throw all of it on there. You don't want to watch it, then don't.
That's smart.
That's what Tom Grossi says.
It's good. Like, I think we're waiting for today
Cardinals
to see if Teddy's going to play. Teddy Roosevelt, king shit. If he plays, I think the Broncos win. If Drew Lock plays, I'm a little scared because, again, Pat Shurmur does not like to adjust how he calls games based on. He's the opposite of a good coordinator. You're going to run his system no matter what. If it's failing over and over and over again, which it could against a good Steelers defense, TJ Watt getting healthier, that scares me.
Yeah.
But like the Broncos and Steelers are oddly similar right now.
They are
Good
very similar.
defenses, questionable O-lines, questionable QB play, depending on whether it's Teddy or Locke. All these great wide receivers that aren't getting utilized. Running game that's not working for different reasons. Like the Broncos, it's because they don't continue to run the ball.
They just don't want to.
Steelers just can't because their offensive line's that bad. You know, it's a scary game. Like if the Broncos lose this, people are going to be, oh man, Broncos country it's going to be rough. But if they win, then we're 4-1. You know what I mean? Like, should the Broncos trade for Geno Smith? I don't think so. I think Geno benefited from going into a game where people weren't ready to defend Geno Smith. Like,
people didn't know he was
as good as a backup as Geno Smith.
Yeah. Well, because I thought Drew Lock was playing, I may or may not have chosen the Steelers to win this game because
it's all right. If he does play, that's a safe bet.
Yeah. So, yeah. But the merch was so good. The
Horsecock Lock merch.
Yeah, it was so good, buddy.
Yeah.
It's such a waste. But
dude, I was so ready for him to be the guy.
I know, but you've said that about a bunch of quarterbacks now.
Said it about Joe Flacco. Said about Case Keenum. Said it about Trevor Siemian. Never said it about Paxton Lynch, except the day we drafted him. Then I saw him throw a football. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I wish the luck in the on this Sunday, but Tom Grossi needs to continue the dominance of the league, in which Packers will be on 4 straight wins. You know, no big deal. MBD. Because this little stretch here after week 6, there's potential we get David Bakhtiari back. Bakhtiari lineman will be amazing. Now, again, the big question mark is Jair Alexander. That's the big question mark. I hope he's only missing a couple weeks, and because other than that, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a big old issue. But Jalen Smith not playing on Sunday. Not playing. But Brandon Perna,
getting warmed up, ready to go.
We made it through another week
of
GPS.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to thumbs down these videos and tell us how much we suck. And that's how YouTube works.
That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. You've been navigated. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you in our streams and in our dreams.
Monday morning.